Up for demo today, we have yet another early 1992 Stevie Ray Vaughan Stratocaster with the coveted Brazilian Rosewood fretboard. I've got another one of these in the shop right now, so I have two of them. I've had 3 or 4 others. So there's a story on these that you need to know, and I'm sure you want to know in order to make sure you're getting the real deal. When these were first in pre-production and literature was being released for them, you can find on there that it says that these guitars will come with Brazilian Rosewood fretboard. Now, I think it was while Stevie Ray Vaughan was still alive, and then he died, and the guitar was going to be put in production. It was delayed for some reason. Eventually it came out in '92. A lot of them have serial numbers like this one, where if you look and ran that, it might come up as a 1990 guitar. Sometimes I've even seen 89 serial numbers. They're not 1989 guitars. They weren't released till January, February of 1992. So this one's early, January, February. I think there's January pots and a February neck. Now, not all of these had Brazilian Rosewood. 99.9% of them had what's called pau ferro, which is like Bolivian rosewood or something like that, but it's pau ferro. It's not Brazilian rosewood. A small number did get Brazilian rosewood. It's not known how many. Some people say 50, some people say 80, some people say 100. Might be more than that, but it's not a lot, and it's definitely not all of them. So in order to tell if yours, or if one you're looking to buy, actually has Brazilian rosewood, you're going to need to know what to look for, and you're going to have to ask for close-ups. I don't know how many times I've seen people list these. They say 1992 with Brazilian rosewood, and it's like, that is obviously not Brazilian rosewood. And the person, you know, I don't think they're trying to lie or cheat. They're just convincing themselves that it's worth more than it is, and they just don't know what to look for. So what do you look for? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, if you read through the listing here, I go through copious detail on all the things you need to look for in order to figure out whether yours has Brazilian rosewood. This one does. How do I know? Well, one test is a smell test. There you go. Can you smell that? No, you can't, not through the internet. But rosewood is called rosewood because it has a floral-like scent. Some people liken it to a rose or some kind of flower. It's a very pungent, unmistakable scent. This definitely has that. But you're not going to be able to smell it. So what do? Well, there's a number of things to look for. First of all, if you're dealing with a 1992 SRV Stratocaster, you know that you're not dealing with Indian rosewood at all because it didn't use that. It's either Brazilian or pau ferro. So take Indian rosewood out of the equation. All right, so what are you looking for? Well, one is the color of the wood, but this is not determinative. Brazilian rosewood can have a range of colors. It can range from like a dark, almost ebony-like color all the way to like a light tan color. And the reason for that is the different parts of the tree. There's the heartwood, which is kind of at the center of the trunk. That's the darkest wood. That was typically what was utilized and harvested for instruments. Then there's the sapwood on the outer edges, and that can be quite a bit lighter, almost tan in color, and sometimes even white. This board was probably towards the sapwood, so it has a lighter brown color. So it's definitely within the range. I've provided a photo of this neck next to this 1960 Stratocaster I have up here hanging on the wall. And that 1960 Strat is cool because it has halfway down the board on this side, I think, it's the dark ebony-like board. And up here, it shows you kind of like the lighter sapwood color, so it's cut right down the middle. Looks really cool. So check out the photo. The next thing you want to look for is the wood grain. Brazilian rosewood is not dense in terms of wood grain. You should be able to count the number of grains on each fret area. Pau ferro, on the other, is very dense. You're going to find extremely short, very, very crowded pores. This one definitely is much less densely packed. And if you look at the grain, you can see some pretty deep grains in it. In fact, down here, you got some pretty long ones as well. So that's another thing. Another way to check the pores is to look right here on this part of the guitar. So this is cut with the grain, this is cut against the grain. So if you're looking against the grain, you should see very modestly packed, not very dense dots. Those little dots are the end of the grains on there. There's other things to look for, but those are the main ones. This one, again, it's a lighter version of Brazilian rosewood, but it's not pau ferro. And again, I got photos and close-ups of it all. I've got it right next to the 1960 Stratocaster. I've got other guitars I can show you. I've got tons of evidence, documentation in terms of photographs that I can give you to show that it is. And I'm happy to provide for anybody a letter from me and representing my shop, authenticating this so that you can hand it off to the next buyer. This guitar is in near mint condition. I guess I should just say mint, because mint guitar is one that's been opened and played a few times, and that's definitely what this is. Very, 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 very minor handling wear. I mean, the back plate even, I think, still has the original plastic on there. Another cool thing about the guitar is it comes with all the original case candy and even has a matching serial number to the back of the headstock. So, again, it's just a fabulous example of these. Again, I've sold many of these right around my asking price, so I definitely know there's a market for these, and they're really cool, really hard to come by. So anyway, thanks for checking out this 1992 SRV Stratocaster with the rare and coveted Brazilian Rosewood fretboard.